every other year in Bethlehem, which is your hometown, Christ at the Checkpoint. And Christ at the Checkpoint's a lot of religious left leaders, some token evangelicals who should know better, gather every other year in Bethlehem for a week of, I think, twisting the truth and turning Israel into the tormentor of the Palestinian people. Have you or your dad ever spoken for Christ at the Checkpoint?
No, we have not, nor have we been invited to it.
Have you heard anything about the March 2014 gathering that they had a couple months ago?
Yes, we had some pastors walk away and come to our church.
Okay.
Spend time with my father and some of our leaders to get a more solid answer of what's really happening on the ground.
Why did they walk away?
A few of the sentiment we've got from them are some of these statements. One, where they felt a little bit misled about the announcements of the subjects or the titles or what will be discussed. A few did not feel comfortable with the approach of some of the lingo and some of the methodology that was being spoken about. They didn't get in any details. That's just the expression. And a few of these pastors that came by are pastors that do not agree with the Christ Checkpoint theology, but attended just to give the benefit of the doubt. By coming to our church, they have heard about our integrity, they've heard about our work, our mission, and they heard a different message, a more biblical one.
Yeah.
And they walked away very happy. In fact, I just got an email from one of them who's from Austin, Texas, who I might be flying in to meet with him and some of his leaders.
Well, I mean, normally Christ at the Checkpoint has some pretty far left guys. You know the names as well as I do. Stephen Sizer, a vicar from the UK, Tony Campolo, some others who are not. I mean, sometimes they'll have some token evangelicals and sometimes even a messianic or two who will come in and give the truth. In 2012, Kay Wilson wanted to go and speak before the Checkpoint crowd because she had a friend who had been brutally killed by Palestinians, and Kay Wilson wanted to come and give a testimony to her friend who was murdered. And the Checkpoint people said that's not what our people want to hear. So I found that troubling. I was happy to see the far leftists weren't there this year. My understanding is it's because they're trying to woo more conservatives into the event.
That's a sentiment I'm also hearing. I believe that those who are overseeing this vision, they're overseeing this Christ at Checkpoint movement, I think their persona is we want to share the truth. But I think there's a lot more deeper than that, and I won't go into any details, but I think it's more than just, I believe it's more than just let's tell you the truth. I think people have hidden motives. I think people have hidden agendas.
Well, Pastor, you know, when Christ in the Checkpoint does their advertising worldwide on the net and in America here, we hear all kinds of things, and a lot of Christians don't really know what Christ in the Checkpoint is. They think it's a legitimate evangelical outreach. But you've been traveling in America now for a number of weeks, and what are you seeing about the reality check that most American Christians do not have about the Middle East? Are there myths that we are believing in, that ministries like this Christ at the Checkpoint are doing something great in the land?
That's a very good question. And here's how I'd like to answer that. You have to understand that those that are actively, physically active in the Christ Checkpoint conference, whether it be the foreigners or whether it be the local community, some of them are legitimately passionate about the Israeli-Palestinian cause. And we cannot dismiss that. Now, do I personally agree with that message? No. But do I dismiss their emotion? No, I can't dismiss that. Can I dismiss their stories? Some other stories are based on facts. We can't dismiss that. Some Palestinians have suffered, quote unquote, because of the wall. If we dismiss that, then we are living in La La Land. To dismiss that is to dismiss the reality that we need air to live. Now, but the problem is nobody asked the question, why?
Yeah, I agree.
Nobody asks, why is there a wall?
Exactly.
Why is there a Palestinian Authority? Why is there an Israel? Why are these people being killed, Jen? And I think, and again, for me to dismiss that, some of these people that are working with the Christ are people that I grew up in the streets with. I grew up seeing the streets. I grew up probably even playing sports with. I can't dismiss their stories.
Well, for the listeners who are right now confused, let's explain this. There was a wall built by Israel to separate the Palestinian territories and Israel because there were terrorists coming in from the Palestinian territories, slitting the throats of the Jews. And so Israel built a wall of partition as a protection. And for this, they are condemned. There's not another nation on the face of the earth who can not allowed to build a wall to protect their people, but Israel is supposedly not allowed to have that wall to protect her people. That's what this is all about. The checkpoint is the wall. It's the wall.
The wall separating.
It's the wall separating, and that's what many in the religious leftist community and some in the evangelical community are protesting. They get together every other year in Bethlehem.